A superhero is a fictional character who possesses superpowers and saves people. Riri Williams doesn't save anybody. Riri Williams is not a superhero. Riri Williams fits the definition of supervillain. She has superpowers, she does crime for her own betterment.
Very good.
It's episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Ironheart, and I wouldn't say it's any better than episodes 1, 2, and 3, in a shock to no one. It doesn't really end, but we'll talk about it.
I completely forgot that people who have early access to the entire show, like people who got all 6 episodes at once to review, Disney gave it to them for a reason.
What did early reviewers tell you, though? What did you find out?
Early reviewers said that the last episodes ramped up. It was stronger at the end, and that the last half, really, of the last episode was some of the best Marvel writing.
I have no idea what they meant by the last 10 minutes thing, because the last 10 minutes was absolutely boring. But I guess it did ramp up because the first 3 episodes are definitely more set up. Like, they spend a lot of time doing things that seem to go nowhere, but there's no end goal in sight. Like I said last review, there was no end goal. It's kind of like, we're going to do some crime and we're going to get some money. And I'm like, cool, why are we doing these things? And the only thing we could postulate was that maybe Parker wanted to go after Riri for killing his cousin. And that's pretty much what happened. So the last 3 episodes, it's very much at least like she thinks she's going to die. So she's like doing stuff to not die, but it's also selfish because she hyperventilates in the end of episode 3 because she killed a man, but she didn't really kill him. Like the show makes sure to be like, no, she didn't really kill him. Like he died because of happenstance.
Also, it's not like she killed an innocent person.
They go out of their way to make sure that Riri didn't really kill anyone, even though she is definitely the reason 2 people died. I assume the cop died in episode 3 and episode 2 maybe.
No.
Oh, they show him like rolling around on the floor or something. They do that a lot. Like when Riri completely destroys the truck that Slug's in, they make sure to hold on it long enough so that Slug can get out, and they're like, oh, they're okay. Don't worry, Riri didn't kill anyone, because Riri doesn't do anything for anybody else. She says that she wants to protect people, but she hyperventilates at the end of episode 3, not because she killed a man or thinks she killed a man, because she thinks Parker knows and is going to catch her, because she's suddenly randomly hellbent on getting Parker's cloak, which is what causes that whole thing. And then every episode subsequently, so episode 4, 5, and 6, she's very much focused on, I need to find out how the cloak works so that I can stop him before he kills my family, because she's definitely thinking that he's going to kill the family, even though he has killed people. He is a murderer. He did kill Rampage, but only Rampage. It's not like he killed Rampage's whole family.
But he's a criminal, you know?
Yes.
He'll do anything.
But so is she.
Correct.
So that's why I'm very confused as to why she's even put up as a role model. Like,
Do you know what she could have done? Just called the police on the criminal hideout that they have that's full of guns, all types of weapons and paraphernalia.
Because she's so obsessed with the cloak. She could have just taken the cloak when he's not wearing it at many points. They're at the funeral. He's not wearing the cloak. They're going around saying why they're all missing John because, like, oh, he was the best guy, apparently. I miss his loyalty. And Riri's sitting there terrified that Parker knows that she did it. And she could have taken the cloak then.
Well, she could have been downstairs and Natalie could have been upstairs in the suit.
Clown steals the cloak. Like, we know the cloak is stealable. So it's very stupid that these 3 episodes basically pivot on the fact that he can kill her whole family unless she gets a bigger gun. Oh, maybe this is political. He has a big weapon, so she needs to build a bigger weapon.
Okay.
It's topical, and they made it 3 years ago.
Topical. Okay. Episode 4 starts with Zeke gets framed, or not framed, he gets arrested.
Yes. And she lets an innocent man go to jail. I say innocent incredibly light there because he is a international weapons dealer.
Black market, smuggler type.
Not because he doesn't want to be like his dad, and also he's a cyborg, but they cut those scenes so that we only know that he just randomly has a bionic arm, maybe.
But he loves live, laugh, love, paraphernalia.
He's cringe.
And works a 9 to 5.
Yes, he says he can't go back to his job, but we never saw him have a job. So I'm like, how much of this show was cut? Like, was it not always 6 episodes? Because there's so many things like that where a character will just shout something that has nothing to do with anything. This episode literally ends on Parker ADRing saying, I need you all to kill Riri Williams because she killed John. And then he gets in an elevator and goes away. So, like, there's no context for that scene. He doesn't discover over time.
Yeah.
He just had the vision last episode, waited this whole episode, then tells the crew to kill her. So, Zeke's in prison.
She does visit and she goes, I'm going to get you out of here.
Yeah, and then makes no efforts at all.
Presumably by doing more crime.
She doesn't do anything to try to break him out. She doesn't turn herself in. She doesn't try to prove that he's innocent. She doesn't really make any efforts towards getting justice for him, apart from the fact that she says, I'm sorry, and then goes to steal his stuff and, like, break into his house.
Before all that, I completely forgot one major part of this episode, the magic shop.
Yep.
They go to a magic shop, they get warped to like a pocket dimension.
Yes, turns out Riri's mum's friend's daughter is a wizard Harry, and also the mum's friend is a wizard Harry.
Who trained at the same place the Sorcerer Supreme trained.
Because they love just name dropping. But it's just, it's convenient. These people are very well off.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, we're meant to believe that Riri Williams is like this from nothing startup person.
Yeah.
But then, like, oh no, her mum's friend's a wizard, and like her friend is a wizard.
You can't do anything, you can't become anything if you're from Chicago. That's referenced in these episodes. You have to move to the big cities, Silicon Valley. And she goes, no, I'm going to make them come to Chicago to work with me. It's like, you guys seem like you have a lot in Chicago.
And they make the point of Zelma, the young wizard child. She's built herself in Chicago. She never went to Hermitage. She studied in Chicago. She studied all her magic, and she's the best. That's her part of the episode, is she says sorry to Zeke, and then she tries to destroy the bit of the cloth because she's hell-bent on stopping Parker, and that means destroying the cloth.
Did you like the little part where she said, my laser didn't burn it off, it just split the atoms perfectly?
Yes. So she's doing a bunch of tech stuff to just try to destroy it. So we get a montage on that takes a while.
Yeah, like it was a very long and drawn out scene of her like trying everything to destroy the cloth. She does fire, she does ice, she does biological, she does explosion, she does subscribing it to Bergenbeard.
I hear that destroys things.
99% of germs. 99% of magical items made by Mephisto.
Then Zeke gets broken out of prison and has one chat with Parker and immediately is ready to like obliterate himself. Like he's just going to torture himself to put implants in.
Yeah. He gets that Weapon X.
For no real reason. Like the deal is, I guess, that he kills Riri WIlliams, but that also happens off screen. So we basically just see Parker say to him, hey man, if you come work with me, I'll make your life good again. And he's like, okay, undergoes surgery.
Well, he hits him with the theological, who are you really?
Because we're both the sons of rich men, even though we don't know that yet.
Oh my God.
Even though it's kind of obvious. But they almost do something interesting. I thought they were going to touch on the fact that N.A.T.A.L.I.E isn't real and that N.A.T.A.L.I is kind of a messed up amalgamation of Riri's memories, so it's not the real N.A.T.A.L.I. And I thought it would be like you have to let her go, or because like Xavier is the first person to reference the fact that that's kind of fucked up, that you've just like brought her back from the dead, but not really, it's not really her. And I thought that might kind of like cause N.A.T.A.L.I to do some introspective spiraling and we might get something interesting. But no. Even down to Xavier's N.A.T.A.L.I headphones break that he was so up in arms about last episode. This episode they break. So he's like, oh, I guess the new one's the thing I need to use now. And then he gets kidnapped by N.A.T.A.L.I, who reveals herself. And obviously that's his sister, so that's fucked up. But they talk about it for like 2 minutes. And then N.A.T.A.L.I runs away. It doesn't do anything with the only interesting thing they had going. Because N.A.T.A.L.I could be something. N.A.T.A.L.I could be a plot point. But instead she really is just like a ghost friend almost.
Yeah, she's ghost friend. She's not used as what she was created for, as an AI.
Yeah.
We're not seeing her help out with anything. The most techie stuff she does when Riri's in the suit is she goes, oh, I'll open up some air to get in here so you can breathe. Your heart's beating fast.
Because she's even like possessing the suit realistically. So she is basically just a dead ghost friend. But it's very much like they wanted to make magic show. In episode 4, Parker's like, did you get help from Ezekial? If you needed help, why didn't you come and ask me for it? I'm like, your one skill is you have a magic hood. Why would she come to you? And also, Riri also says to Parker that she doesn't know who Ezekial is, even though he's a weapons dealer. She could have been like, yeah, I needed extra tech, so I borrowed some from him.
Literally.
Like, there's no reason for her to lie there, apart from the fact that, oh, we need fake tension. But that's an ongoing theme with this show of like, we don't know how to make tension, so we have the characters be absolute fucking morons to do it. In episode 5, Zeke has to kill Riri WIlliams because that's part of the deal apparently. But instead of killing her, he lets her go because he's not really the bad guy. He's a good guy, I swear. but then he doesn't come up with any believable story of how he killed her.
Which is the one thing you think you'd do if you needed to explain to your boss, or you knew your boss was going to ask if you killed them.
Yeah, his one assumption was, oh yeah, my boss is going to say, did you kill her? And I'll go, yep, she's dead. And then he's going to leave it. He's not going to ask how.
Cool. Pizza, anybody?
He's not going to ask questions. And no, he immediately says, oh, tell me a story, like, tell me how. And he's like, oh, I don't know. And then Clown has to lie as well.
Well, the episode starts, Riri's talking with Magic Girl, and then the gang comes to do the hit. So the first people that come in are the blood siblings, who their one thing is beating people up.
Yep.
They get beat up by Riri in almost like a Home Alone style fashion, just like with like doors in the faces. Next is Clown, who gets extinguisher potato cannon.
Yeah, gets mortared in the face.
Gets mortared, and then a grenade goes off next to her.
It's stupid. Like, that whole scene was laughable because, like, yeah, the blood siblings have kicked the shit out of every security force they've come up against. But now they have to fight Riri Williams, and she's quicker.
Riri's fighting ability is rated a 2 on the scale, damn it.
The closest thing I can equate that fight scene to is baby Leia running away from her captors in Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Like, she's just, like, kicking things in their way, and they're just, like, falling over. One of them trips on chips. Like, Riri, I assume there's oil in there as
oil.
well.
She like dumps the oil basket.
Clown comes in, and instead of using a big bomb because Riri Williams can't die, she's using small grenades that make like little puffs of smoke around. I'll give it to Riri. She does actually use smart things to beat both of them. She uses the little shield watch, which is incredible technology, and I'm sure anyone would pay millions and millions of dollars for.
Right, could be set up for life.
Like, ridiculous. But she tricks them to getting trapped inside this like airbag zorb bubble thing.
It's literally a zorb because
she can roll
pushes it, and I'm like, huh.
And she gave it away. She sold it to some
college kid for an
what
assignment.
The fuck? But like, she did science, and she tricked them because like we set up earlier in the episode that it goes off when it hears gunshots. So I'm like, okay, fair play. And then she uses potato cannon on Clown, which is gas canister, knock off the edge of canister. Not the smartest thing ever, but it is science-y, so it's like, cool. She at least did things. This is the kind of stuff I would have expected her to get out of the elevator with, instead of just like brute forcing open two things.
That's like a Iron Man 3 when he's breaking into the compound and he's using like Christmas balls with like chemicals in them. As
everything you got in the hardware store.
Yeah.
This show just lacks cause and effect, so that's why it feels like we're jumping around so much, because instead of things happening causing other things, it doesn't feel like that at all. Things just keep happening, and there's lots of them.
It's very weird. It's like almost like people wrote the scenes without thinking about what's happening in the middle.
Yeah, it does feel like it was meant to be an 8-episode series, but then they got condensed down to 6, and then it got dumped out in 2 goes. This would be way easier to talk about in episode by episode.
Could you imagine if this was weekly releases?
So then Zeke comes to kill her in the final little thing on the hit. He decides not to kill her. But Zeke is now full-on bionic man, but looks almost normal, but he's shaved his head and he has like electrical fingertips, so he keeps lightning her. And then he destroys her entire suit, because you have to destroy the suit so that she can rebuild it to make it better for the finale. Because like that's every show ever. You have to make a new suit to kill the bad guy at the end.
Yeah.
It's textbook. So that's what we have to do here.
Joe goes back to his house, finds out, hey, my augments don't work. It's because, I don't know if you caught this in episode 4, Slug backspaced out Zeke's name and then just wrote in Parker's name in the code.
It was a screen that said, user and then admin, and she changed the admin from Zeke to Parker.
Parker needs his help for one last job, I guess.
Yeah, so he takes him by force
to his dad's house. Well, it's revealed his dad's house. And he says, Daddy-o, how could you have abandoned me? Please sign this piece of paper or I'm going to kill you to give me all of your assets and your house and your company. And
Dad's mansion, we should say, because Dad is a rich guy, which means Parker is a rich boy, but he was
nepotism.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's weird. Like, they keep saying that everyone is self-made in this show, but then everyone seems to have rich parents or like the ability to.
His dad abandoned him. His dad, he literally said, I didn't want you.
Well, no, his dad cast him out because he kept doing crime, but he kept doing crime because he wanted his daddy's attention after Mum died. So it's not that the villain thinks they're doing the right thing, which is what a good villain is. Like, a good villain is someone that thinks they're doing right.
Like Hitler.
Yes. Whereas a Marvel villain can't just think they're right. They have to actually be right.
Yes.
And they have to be betrayed by someone to make it this way. Like, there has to be a bigger bad that we're not going to explain. Like, the dad kicked him out. So, like, if we had a show of the dad's dad probably kicked him out. And it's like, oh, people hurt people.
Yes.
What is this, The Last of Us 2? Riri Williams has had her suit destroyed. So what are we going to do? We have to rebuild the suit. So she's like, I can't rebuild this suit. Oh no. But then her family comes together and they say, well, we bought you this car, so you can use this car to make Iron Man's suit. It takes away from the whole Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. It's no, Riri Williams built this in a garage with a car.
She used a Dodge Charger and whatever was at the local shop. She was unable to create a power source for the suit.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking as well while she was building it. I'm like, what kind of battery is she going to build for it?
She just wind turbine and solar power.
Very true. It should have just been, there should have been a little fan on it the whole time.
So she turns the car into an Iron Man suit.
Correct.
All the tech completely fine, everything's Gucci, but she can't build a power supply. So she can't build an arc reactor like Tony could. But because this is a magic show now, she's going, oh, what do I do? And her friend's like, I have an idea. We'll use magic to make the suit power. But she already made the previous one work on solar power and wind power. So I don't know why this one can't. And also combining it with magic just seems superfluous. Like, it doesn't really help in any way or change anything. It's literally just like they delete the AI N.A.T.A.L.I.E because for some reason...
It can only have one operating system.
Yeah, AI N.A.T.A.L.I.E was on the core, which is apparently also the power source, and I don't get why. Like, she just taped over her. It's just, why was the AI on the core? Why was the AI inside of the battery?
Which where we saw her like a couple scenes prior in the laptop. So she moved her 100% from the laptop instead of having her in both places.
I guess she was always in the suit and it was just like Wi-Fi'd to the other things.
Well, N.A.T.A.L.I.E also figured out how to jump herself to other machines.
So she was still in the laptop / the suit, maybe. So that makes no sense, which is why it's weird that this suddenly, like, they just tape over her and it's just never resolved because, plot twist, that's the end of the episode. But all throughout the next episode, she's dangled as like bait of you can have your best friend back. But they really thought they were getting a second season.
It definitely felt like that the entire time. Episode 6 starts. We see the original break-in that Parker and John did into Daddy's house. As he's fleeing, he's trapped. Guard's going to get him. Mystery Man says, come with me, I'll help you out.
He's wearing a hood.
They get kind of teleported into a pizza shop. And the mystery man says, I'll give you anything you want, you know, the typical devil's deal, you know, monkey paw.
I wonder who he could be.
Oh,
some kind of this mystery man
some
played
kind
by
of El Diablo.
Sacha Baron Cohen could possibly be.
So Borat comes and offers him the deal of a lifetime. He says, I'll give you whatever you want. You want to be filthy, disgusting rich? And he says, what's it going to cost me? He goes, oh, you're not going to miss that thing anyway. So it's assumed it's his soul.
Yes.
Obviously, it's the devil.
Again, I don't know if that's how deals work.
It's like you don't have to tell. It was like he never asked, so you don't have to tell him.
Like when you signed up for a mortgage, was the bank like, nothing you'll miss? And then they just start taking money out of your bank.
But they did only make me sign one piece of paper.
Oh, at gunpoint.
At gunpoint, so it's fine. And then after that, it cuts to Riri flies to the Domino's.
Punches the shit out of Ezekial.
She goes, I'm going to have to knee you in the balls. And he goes, oh man, it makes so much sense.
They basically set it up so that they can kick the weak man in the balls. Like, some people on YouTube are going to have a fucking field day with this. In fairness, they do make him out to be like the saddest guy ever. Like, his neighbor is an absolute bitch to him and he's just like a little sub like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, and then this episode they kick him in the balls and it's like,
in her hyper mecha suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Also, the new suit has wheels. Like she's fucking
a Transformer.
She's freaking Destiny Hero Dasher now or something.
She's Jazz from Transformers.
She's Jazz, literally.
Then she goes upstairs and Parker is there wearing the hood like, Riri.
She presumably takes the elevator up because she also takes the elevator down later.
Yeah, she's conscious of the set and the budget. But
she could have flown in from the roof, by the way.
She doesn't sneak in. Oh, yeah, she could have landed on the top floor, gone to his vault first and, like, made sure he wasn't wearing it. Got the drop on him, maybe, instead of making a bunch of noise downstairs and then taking the elevator up. But he's like, Riri Williams, I knew I should have killed you myself, which we raised the question of, why the fuck didn't you then? Because he ADR'd in episode 5. You all have to go kill Riri.
And he's been at every job so far. Why not show up at this one just to make sure it gets done?
He was also the only person not there. Everyone else went to kill her, including Zeke. So he was just sitting at home in his ice bath.
For 11 and a half minutes.
Yeah, ooh, he's a hard
Demon body can't survive that long, Daniel. Something's wrong with him.
Then she kicks the ever-loving shit out of a normal human being.
So yes, and then a very confusing fight scene breaks out where Parker begins to morb out.
Yeah, he turns into Morbius.
He turns into Morbius, and he's like clawing and kind of like not flying, but like leaping about and holding onto her.
He got that devil in him.
And then a very confusing scene happens where he's pulling out her Ironheart. An explosion happens. Like literally, explosion.jpg fills the entire screen. She's on the floor with the entire suit, smoke everywhere. And then Parker pulls out the dual Berettas, the dual Glockos. And then as he shoots her, it goes through her.
She's a hologram.
She's a hologram projecting from the suit where she's actually standing behind him. So the explosion was maybe like a solar flare, like Dragon Ball Z style solar flare with like smoke.
But all the smoke goes away after as well.
So it's smoke and mirrors.
But she's projecting it. And so far we know that if you're in the way...
It makes like a blue hue.
Yeah. Like a projection is pretty good, but not like flawless. So she's made better hologram projection technology than Mysterio. And it really is just the point of like, what can't she do? And then she kicks the ever-loving shit out of him.
She like just punched him a couple of times and then just yanks the hood off of him.
Because that's the thing, he's just a guy with a hood. But it also only lasts like 2 minutes. I think the fight with Zeke actually lasts longer. And that one's got a little bit more sauce because Zeke doesn't want to kill her. Mm-hmm. So he's like throwing a fridge at her and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. So it's like, it's got more to it than when he's upstairs. Because him and Riri really have nothing to do with each other. Like, they've barely interacted. She kind of killed his cousin, and he discovered this off screen and then sent people to kill her. So, like, they don't have an interesting relationship there. Like, Ironmonger versus Iron Man. That's two people that have spent their whole lives together, and like it's a big deal that they're fighting. Spider-Man and Goblin, like there's history there. He doesn't know it until he discovers at the end there, and it's like, oh, there's history there. Whereas here, it just felt so empty.
Superhero and supervillain, that dynamic is so good, and like a usual rogues gallery is the familiarity. But yeah, it just feels so unpersonal.
And also, they're both criminals. A villain doesn't have another villain as an enemy, and they're both villains.
Very true.
It's just boring. Yeah, she takes the elevator downstairs, and Mephisto's just hanging out.
What a shitty name drop and reveal. So this is the last 10 minutes that everyone was saying was insane. And it's Sacha Baron Cohen, who changes accents all the time, which is whatever. Let him do what he wants.
Yeah, he brings nothing to the role. I don't know why it's him. It's just pointless. I was
I'll
just like,
give you anything you want.
Yeah, they made him very British for a while there.
Yeah.
They have a line about how every rich person is evil because the top 100 richest people on the planet made a deal with the devil.
100 rich people, 13 kings, and a Beatle. It was Ringo.
To be the worst drummer in the Beatles. The whole conversation is him like, hey, do you want me to make you rich and powerful? And Riri's like, damn, I really do want to be rich and powerful.
He's like, I can make you iconic.
But then she's like, oh, but that would be the bad thing to do. It's not even conflicted. She seems kind of on board, but then the show is like, but she won't do it though because she's the good guy, remember?
It's because he's maybe showing her a potential future of what he could do.
We're seeing visions that are her and Natalie hanging out together, even though it seems like a future vision.
It seems like time has passed.
In the vision, she makes it seem like she fixed Natalie and brought her back from death. But then Natalie is actually real corporeal form, but we don't know why. So then I think they're trying to trick us into making us think that she said yes to it. But then it also flashes back to the conversation. So we're not sure if it's like this could be you, or if we're cutting to the future, because then the show just ends.
Yeah, it literally just, it finishes.
Yeah, there's no resolution apart from the fact that she got the cape off him, but now she's talking to the devil. So it's like the problem isn't solved, I guess. Like,
it's not even like we see her just like hard reject the devil, get one last up on him, or just like say no to the deal. Really, it just finishes.
I guess we're meant to feel like, oh God, did she do it? But I don't care. And I guess she might do because like she wants to be rich and famous and she wants her best friend back. So she probably will do it because I've seen no morality from her because she's not a good guy.
She'll literally just do whatever she wants.
Yeah. How is this worse than doing crime or getting a police officer shot or leaving a man to die? Like all of those things seem worse than a deal with the devil that you don't know is the devil because he doesn't really specify.
He doesn't say like the typical tropey line of, I've been known by many names, the devil, Satan, El Diablo.
Yeah, he just says, I'm Mephisto. Yeah, I'm better than Dormammu, yada, yada. There's no doubt in my mind she would take the deal because Riri WIlliams sucks. And I'm like, that's
it's like even when Xavier finds out about Natalie and he gives her the only, like the realist response about finding out about Natalie, he's like, that's my sister. You can't do that. You're butchering her memory. It's not like what I do where I put her into my music.
I honor her, you resurrect her.
And Xavier goes, I guess I'll just learn to see it how you see it, or something like that. And I'm like, cool. So the whole like meltdown you had and the only character tension meant nothing because he's just going to forgive her.
And it was hidden from episode 1 from him to just be revealed. But that did actually remind me that causes Natalie to run away and cry for a bit. And then she gets kidnapped by Slug.
By shooting a magnet into her chest.
Giant, like,
just like
a
reeling
giant
it.
suction cup magnet just like slams Natalie Ironman in the chest. And then we cut to like, I've got her.
What is happening?
It's the weirdest thing. Like, yeah, Slug just kidnaps her. And that's the reason Riri Williams has to use her smarts. But then also the suit escapes just the right moment to save her.
It uses buzzsaw mode.
Yeah, which isn't affected by the magnet holding her steady. No fucking clue what's going on. The show ends and we get our after credit scene.
Oh, but that post-credit scene. Parker goes to the magic shop where Zelma works and he goes, I'm gonna need some of that good. Some of that real good magic. You know what I mean? Not just the parlor chicks. I need some abracadabras.
Zelma has no idea who he is. She's just like, that's cool. I can help you with that. So like, they really wanted season 2.
Yeah.
And considering they shelved this for 3 years, I don't think they're getting a season.
We'll get it in 2029.
The show didn't do well from all accounts. It did get review bombed, which is stupid. But I don't think it's even getting the viewership numbers that like the bad shows get.
Oh, I don't think it's like the doggest dog shit I've ever seen. Like I've seen like Neil Breen. No offense, but it's just like it's a 3. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not like the cutting room floor dog shit. Like I've seen worse.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about all the Marvel projects is that they're all well made enough.
They're well made and they look pretty in parts. The CG in this is a bit rough, but it just doesn't hold up to standards.
The writing's just really poor, and the characters. I think actually the writing, the actual moment-to-moment writing might be like bare minimum acceptable, but the characters are just so bullshit and boring, and like there's no real character tension. Everything's incredibly manufactured. And nothing actually matters. So, sure, the words they're saying aren't the worst thing ever, except a couple of really cringy lines. The most human is Natalie. I don't know if that was on purpose, but I guess her actress had fun with it. And I don't really like this show at all. Like, I'm never going to watch it again.
Nope.
I don't think anyone is.
Nope.
I'm shocked they didn't just shit can it completely and delete it from the service like Willow.
Write it off as a tax write-off.
Sorry, this was probably messy. But it's a weird show to talk about. It feels like so much happened, but nothing feels connected. Everything just like people decide to do things.
Tell us if you liked it in the comments.
You can do what you want. I don't care.
You can do what you want. You don't have to watch this. And again, it's our opinion. Daniel, I'm very glad you could meet me here today. I want you to sign over all of Bergenbeard to me. You can either sign it with a pen or you can sign it with your blood.
With blood. This is definitely legally binding.